there were thousands of dollars of outstanding charges. One of the first things we did on our end to protect ourselves was block any charges on our credit cards from Meta to prevent just the damage going, out of control. And so once we did that, they locked all of our accounts, and then we had to start talking to Meta about unlocking those accounts, refunding us. They gave us probably about right away within the first week 40% of the refunds back, but then they were still investigating, and that lasted for, I'm not kidding you, several months.
Welcome to the Dr. Marketing Tips Show. I'm your host, Corey, and with me today is Chad Roush, the Digital Marketing Director at Insight Marketing Group. So welcome to the show, Chad.
Thank you very much.
So Chad's here because we've got an interesting story to tell and some lessons that we want to share. So let's picture this. You're busting your butt. You've got your campaigns on point. The doctors are happy. Your boss is satisfied with everything you're doing online for your digital ads on Facebook. And then boom, all of a sudden there's a hack in your business account. There's no ads. There's no campaigns. There's an unexpected halt in everything that you're doing. And that obviously will send some shockwaves through the entire practice. And that's what actually happened to us at IMG. So Chad was the man that actually found the issue and solved it. So what we wanted to do was take some time and sort of unpack what happened and talk about what we did to fix the issue, next steps, things to be prepared for. And that way, if this, knock on wood, ever happens to you, you will know exactly what to do. So Chad, kind of give us some background here on how you found out about the issue and sort of immediate reaction and then next steps. I remember this is a family show.
Yeah, it was a Friday morning, so you're thinking it's a Friday morning, you're gonna wrap up, you're gonna just kind of get things ready for the weekend, clear some stuff off your plate. And I came into a flurry of emails, both from our social media aggregator, Agorapulse, was letting me know that all my tokens is expired. And I also got emails from Facebook itself, from Meta support, saying that I had been removed as administrator from all of our accounts. And then so quickly we think that should be wrong, especially being as it happened at 3:00 in the morning. It was what I quickly realized had happened after discussing something with our employees who work on the digital marketing team, was that sometime at 3:00 in the morning, one of our employees had gotten a text for the verification for his Facebook account. He didn't bother with it because he figured it was spam or wrong, or he didn't request for it. It was also 3:00 in the morning. He was sleepy, so didn't do anything about it. They had somehow figured out how to circumnavigate that two-factor authentication. Still don't know how that happened. Facebook probably doesn't want to admit how it happened, but they can pie on their end. And we had lost control of all of our business manager. So for people who might not know, your Facebook backend is kind of structured in a way where you have a business manager where you can run your business and your ad accounts all through that. And they got a hold of the whole thing. So we could not post our ad accounts. We couldn't get into the pages for the clients we manage. We lost control of everything.
Once we kind of lost control, what did they do with the business manager once they had control of it?
Well, what they mostly wanted to do was, they were somewhere in, black hat land. They wanted to use our ad accounts for all of our clients, and specifically the payment methods that they're in, to run ads for just mostly nonsense, but things that they know would attract people who think, oh, I want to buy that. So it was specifically, and they went through the whole shebang of putting on pixels so they could track how many sales they were doing for their bad ads. So, but they were like, like massagers and things like that they thought people would do. So they would do these ads, put them and like inflate the budget. So we're spending like $1,500, $2,000 a day on ads, just flooding the market with ads. People would click on those ads, go to a phony website, and then try to do this order, give their credit card information, and then those poor people probably had, their bank accounts drained by these people. That's how they made money. But from our end, what happened to us was, it was just thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of charges for ads that were not ours. So they got us for $1,000. They probably got all those poor people who answer those ads for thousands of dollars. That's how I guess they make their money.
Right. And so the ripple effect of that is they took over the ad account, which effectively locked us out from running ads for our clients. And then, so obviously, there was the folks that were experiencing the difficulty here, either purchasing those things or whatever the case may be. But on our side specifically, our cards were being charged to run all of these, and we were unable to produce anything for clients until we were able to get that control back from Meta or from Facebook. So
Yeah,
how
correct.
did that actually happen?
We couldn't even run organic posts. We couldn't post just anything normal.
We were locked out completely.
So the first thing we did is we went to the Facebook support chat. And if you've ever done Facebook support, you've got to go through chat first, basically saying, and they have an option for I've lost control of my account. We click that and we start chatting with them, and eventually like, well, this is complicated, so let's get on the phone. So we got on the phone, let them know what's going on. And the first thing they did was just, okay, we don't know what's going on. We don't know who you are necessarily. We can't confirm you actually own the accounts. We don't know if they own the accounts. We're just going to freeze everything. So they just stopped. So, I mean, the whole thing, the hack itself lasted 7 hours from like 3 in the morning till 11 noonish until we could actually get them to do those things. But I mean, they did a lot of damage in that time.
Yeah, and then sort of the ripple effects of that they lasted in how long? I mean, before we got full control back.
For that was a problem. Is to get full control back of our pages, so we could get back our business manager. What they did is they basically rolled it back to where it was before the hack. They were able to look at it pretty quickly, see the fake ads, see that it had nothing to do with whatever the pages were. So they're like, okay, no problem. We're going to give you back control to where it was before then. We had page control back probably, this happened on a Friday morning, probably I think around Tuesday morning, we had control of those pages back. And then we were able to add them back to our social media platforms, and we could start posting on those again. The problem was our ad accounts were not part of that package. There were thousands of dollars of outstanding charges. One of the first things we did on our end to protect ourselves was block any charges on our credit cards from Meta to prevent just the damage going out of control. And
right.
So once we did that, they locked all of our accounts, and then we had to start talking to Meta about unlocking those accounts, refunding us. They gave us probably about right away within the first week 40% of the refunds back, but then they were still investigating, and that lasted for, I'm not kidding you, several months.
Yeah, so if you're watching this or if you're listening to this and you're thinking, okay, so this happens to me, I get locked out, I now know where to start. So just going to Facebook support, but let's back up even a little bit more than that. So what can we do to sort of safeguard against this in the future? So let's say I handle some ads for a practice specifically. How can I make sure that I'm doing everything right to avoid a potential hack like this?
The best advice I can give that is you want to take how they've set their system very oddly, because you can basically give people access to your business manager, your ad accounts, or your pages through their personal Facebook. But when you do that, you give them levels of control, either admin, editor, viewer. You can get real lazy with that, because obviously if you make someone who might work for you or is managing an account more control than they need, so then you're not always having to do things, that was kind of the mistake, because we made too many people admins of those accounts. And so once they were able to break into one of our employees' accounts as an admin, they had complete control over everything. So number one, take those roles very, very seriously. You do not need more than one, maybe two admins, just as a safeguard. And after that, make sure if they're going to be doing work, editor, if they're just going to do reporting, they just need to be a viewer, things like that.
And who would those people be? So that would be maybe a partner or an agency or an intern or something at the practice, right? That's what you're saying?
Right, yeah, depending on who those people are. So you want someone who's basically, because you also don't want, if someone leaves the company that they were the only admin. You do want to have some redundancy, but I would say no more than 2 admins per business manager per ad account, and after that, it should just be edit, viewer, things like that status.
Okay. So make sure that you limit the number of admins, the
Mhm.
control. Obviously, you probably want to follow, like best practices with two-factor authentication and a very secure password. Use a password generator for that.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Is there anything else that somebody can do to avoid this?
I think what you said, just follow best practices. I mean, make sure
Yeah.
that you could also make sure you have. I mean, there's a lot of IT people that will be very stringent about changing your password every month. I don't know if it means every month, but you might want to go through every couple months, 2-3 months, and change your passwords. Use those password generators. Don't use easy to guess passwords. I mean, things you hear about on the news, you go, I don't know, but you definitely want to have that. You want to have that degree of protection.
So password exclamation point is not a great password. Is that what you're saying?
Not a great password.
Okay.
Also, another thing that a lot of people will do is they will give everyone access to one Facebook account, so that there's 25 people who will know that password.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a bad thing, because a lot of times people store their passwords as on their computers. Their individual computers have that stored. If they get into your computer, they get that password, they get you.
Yeah.
So again,
And
follow
so
best practices. Make sure that the person who is signing in is the person who's actually signing in.
right, absolutely. And so we were able to recover those accounts. So let's say that again, using the example of someone who's listening to this, they have their account, they have their ads in there, they get hacked, maybe they go through support. Should they expect to have to rebuild all of those ads, or are they going to get access to their full account with everything still intact? Do you know?
I think it's going to depend. Ultimately, what happened with us is that they told us they could not trust that the hackers had been completely cleaned out of the ad accounts. And so they blocked those ad accounts, and they are not going to unblock those ad accounts, because they just don't know how. They probably just don't have the manpower to do the deep research to see how much it's compromised. So in our case, we did have to, and this is on Facebook's advice, not use those ad accounts again and just build new ad accounts. So you can hold on to that history, because you don't have to delete that ad account. You just need to just take off the credit card, and you can on Facebook. You can just remove payment method, just remove that payment method, and start a whole new ad account, and then start fresh. You'll have the
And you will
history
have to,
background too, but they're not gonna intermingle.
so you will have to rebuild the ads though.
You will have to be rebuild the ads, yeah.
Okay, but that may be on a case by case basis. That's
Yeah,
not across the board.
some of them, some we had multiple ad accounts, some we did not have to do that too, but most of them we did.
Are there any other sort of like big takeaways that you can think of for our listeners here, in terms of either securing the accounts or something that they can do at their office just to avoid this if possible?
Well, number one, if you do get an alert on your phone even at 3 o'clock in the morning, take it seriously,
Yeah,
because it
don't
could be
ignore
someone
it.
trying to break into your account. So that's number one. But number two, again, it's just if we go beyond Facebook, if you're just thinking about Google ads, or you're thinking about your Twitter ads, your LinkedIn ads, every system has their best practices. And a lot of times, I think, just for those of us who've been living in the digital age for many, many years, we always want to take shortcuts. When it's anything attached to money, do the best practices. You don't want to be on that end of, I'm out thousands and thousands of dollars and no one will believe me that I was hacked.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And that's actually the last question that I had. So when this does happen, are you on the hook for all of the money that the hackers spent?
It's going to be an investigation. Facebook is going to investigate, and they are going to try to figure out how much they think was an actual hacker ad. I mean, there was 2 cases with us of how they did the ads. One was they created a whole new ad campaigns, new ad groups, and Facebook was like, "That's great." The other thing, because I think there was technically 2 guys in this organization working our accounts. One guy did it that way. One guy modified existing ads. And that's where it got sticky, where Facebook's like, well, that's hard to untangle, because you did run ads on this. They were running for many, many months beforehand, and now they're running this. I don't know where you stop and they begin, and that's where all the conflicts happened.
Got it. Well, yeah, hopefully if you're listening to this, you never have to go through this process because I will say Chad did a fantastic job here, sort of truncating what he had to go through by just saying that it was a couple days, but it was honestly, I mean, it was hours upon hours of work to untangle this and get everything situated, right?
Yep.
So,
Oh yeah, I
I
had
mean,
to run my own spreadsheets to figure out how much we were being, how much was ours, how much was theirs, and it was a lot.
yeah, so wouldn't wish this on your worst enemy type of thing, right?
No.
All right, so there you have it. So hopefully today's conversation sheds a little bit of light on this issue that, again, hopefully you'll never have to face. And so a big thank you to Chad for sharing the story, and we hope that you learned something today that you can kind of take back to your practice and never have to implement, but make sure that you do implement those best practices. And with that, I'm Corey. This is the Dr. Marketing Tip Show, and we'll catch you in the next one.
If you want more like this, hit like and subscribe so you'll always be alerted to new episodes when they come out. And if you want information about us, visit us over at insightmg.com. That's insightmg.com. We'll see you on the next episode.